All right, here we are, Impact and Influence Radio, right here on Opera, and today's broadcast is brought to you by Blinds of Sacramento, Sacramento's complete solution window covering experts. Give them a call, 916-790-8689, or blindsofsacramento.com. Now, today, I've got a lovely lady in here that was a referral from Aaron Provenzel from OsteoStrong, and we've got Susan Dakuzaku, is that correct?
It's correct.
Amazing, and I love this name. I really, really love this name.
It's very unique. People don't forget it.
Is this a married name?
No, it's actually my maiden name. When I was young, I thought maybe I'd marry a Brown or a Smith. My husband's name is Schlack, German. So Susan Schlack, not good. So I've kept my maiden name.
You know, what's funny is my last name is Jones, right? And my wife, she's Russian, Semruk. And I've actually considered just taking her name, but we never switched the names. We just left it. Yeah, it's so funny. All right, so we're going to be talking about Serenity Playbook. We're going to be talking about what it is that you're doing. Before we get into all of that, who is Susan Dakuzaku?
Well, I would call myself an inventor of my own future. When I went to college, I was really interested in environmental stuff. Earth Day was big, 1970, and decided to become an environmentalist, except I spent 2 summers out in the field. Loved to hike, but loved to have a nice comfy bed at night. So I decided to get into computers because then I could help analyze the data. So spent 23 years in that industry. Left about 25 years ago because I didn't see myself doing that forever. Decided to turn down a business or a job offer, but didn't have a plan. But it worked out because I ended up getting into website development, communication, and marketing.
Now, how far back did you get into website development? I started my web design business in 98.
I was probably right about 99, 2000. I was dabbling in it, but it was pretty low tech back then.
Yes, we had GeoCities.
Oh, you were coding and all that kind of stuff. So I went through that evolution, but back in about probably 2003, I was supposed to speak at a women's conference, and the company that I had hired to do my website flaked on me. I decided to do it myself, and then actually found out that was a really good outlet for me because I could build my communication into websites and kind of help people who needed that same help.
Now, you like to communicate. You're a communicator. Were you always in that space?
You know, I was interested.
You say you're an introvert, but you like to communicate.
If you remember taking those tests in high school, and it said you'd be a good teacher, and I didn't see that because being a teacher in an elementary school.
Yeah, but you can be a teacher without being in an elementary school.
Well, that's what I found out. Yeah. Because now that I've been in technology, I've led workshops and also training in different things. So doing online courses now is kind of run into that. So I believe in communication and sharing information.
I think that you and I are both like natural born. I have this thing in my floating around. We're natural born teachers in the sense that I over-explain everything. And, I was showing you my platform, and like 20 minutes later, I'm still talking about my stuff. I'm like, come on, dude, just get with the program, dude. She doesn't care, But the point is that's a teacher, and so you're educating. And what I find myself is like, maybe they don't know about this, and then I go around down this rabbit trail. Maybe they don't know about this, and I go down this rabbit trail. Eventually, you're just kind of giving them everything.
Right. Well, and so one of the things I did kind of when I left my corporate job was I decided if I'm going to be a speaker, I need training. I decided not to become a professional speaker getting paid for gigs because I knew that was competitive, but I ended up joining Toastmasters.
That's a great platform.
Yeah, and one of the things...
Here locally?
Oh, yeah. There's several clubs all over the world, right?
The Sacramento one?
Well, I was part of Sunrise Toastmasters, which met in Citrus Heights.
Yes,
There were probably dozens
because there was a gentleman, I'm still trying to remember what the heck his name was. I want to say it started with a V. Black gentleman. He'd been with the Sacramento Toastmasters for like a million years.
It's probably been about 12 years since I've been active in Toastmasters.
Yeah, me too.
The name doesn't ring a bell. I know like Arnie Sampe. I don't know if you know Arnie. He was like a legend. He was in Toastmasters for like 30 years, and I always said, it's not that he was a slow learner. He just loved to be in Toastmasters.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember who the heck this guy was. Vernon, I want to say.
It's
I
like
don't
the
know.
tip of my tongue.
I know. Yeah. Oh well.
Yeah. Oh well.
Is he still around? I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah. Who knows? Okay. So, what is it that you're doing today? What do you do?
Well, I've decided to kind of launch some more online courses, and one of the first ones I launched was called Hook Them at Hello.
Okay.
Because when I was going to a chamber event years ago, and I know we only have 30 seconds, right, to communicate.
Yeah.
And I said, so if you've ever tried to communicate information to a coworker or a boss or somebody, and they didn't get what you were saying, and you might have felt frustrated or up a creek without a paddle. I'm in the paddle business, and I'm doing a workshop, and you can join Toastmasters. And what I tell people is that I didn't have to explain what I did. You have to explain what problem you're solving, and then they'll be interested in what you do and how you do it. That's why I called myself the paddle lady, because a year later, a lady comes up to me and says, "You're the paddle lady." So putting a memorable, we talked about branding message into people's heads is part of that being memorable and being unique.
Very, very interesting. Okay, so what's the difference between the Hook 'em at Hello and the Serenity Playbook?
Okay, so Hook Them at Hello was about marketing, but also you have to have an authentic, genuine interest in other people. I mean, you can't sell stuff that you don't believe in. So the mindset that I learned while I was going into business, because when I got into sales, I was supposed to pick up the phone and call my best friend from second grade who lived in Oregon, because I wouldn't run into her if I made a fool of myself. And it took me 30 minutes to pick up the phone because of all that mindset stuff that goes to your head. So I learned a lot from a gentleman named Bern Moses, who passed away about 13 years ago. And one of those things was mindset. Just not imagining the bad things, but imagining the benefit somebody would have if you at least shared what you're doing. So the Serenity Playbook is my gift to people to kind of have calm confidence, to take less stress or remove the stress from their lives, so that they can experience more joy, be more productive, have more fun in business.
Why are you so passionate about this? I mean, it's oozing out of you. You love this. Again, I don't believe for a second that you're an introvert. My wife, I tell my wife I'm an introvert, and she goes, "There is no way on God's green earth you are an introvert." And I have that. I'm literally thinking the same thing of you.
Well, the thing is, we're evolving, right? The person I was when I was in corporate is different than the person I am now because of the things I had to learn, the things I had to do.
Well, you could lock yourself in a room. I could lock myself in my business, in my room and do what I do for 20 hours a day and not come out. That's fine. But you still got to shake hands and kiss babies, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, so years ago when I was launching a version of the Hook Them at Hello, I spoke at the Rancho Cordova Chamber, and I remember it was about 50 people in the room, and a gentleman at the back said, "Susan, I can't believe you're the same person who showed up to a chamber event 2 years ago," because I was standing in a corner, not talking to people. But the evolution. So I tell people, you can learn to do anything.
Oh yes, absolutely. I remember when I was making my first sales calls, how bad they were, and I remember before I got off the phone, I go, "So how'd I do?" The guy didn't buy from me, but I'm asking him if I was any good.
They didn't hang up on you, so that's a good sign.
I can only laugh. I mean, I'm still cringing in that moment. It's been however many years, but yeah. Oh well.
Yeah.
Keep going.
Well, and the thing is, like joining Toastmasters, one of the things I always avoided in Toastmasters was the humorous speech contest, because it was like, what if nobody laughs? It's that fear. But one of my friends, Pat Gakatan, who was just funny as all get out, she joined our group, learned a lot from her, and now I have no fear. I mean, either people will go get the humor that I get because it's coming from a genuine place, or they won't. So it's not a big deal.
So let's talk about, you wanted to talk about stress a little bit. And so talk to me about stress.
Well, so obviously when I couldn't pick up the phone for 30 minutes, I was under stress. I was imagining all the bad stuff that was going to happen. And over the evolution, I ended up selling a website which was on paper to the hotels in Rancho Cordova back in 2003, or it was a long time ago. And basically got Small Business of the Year that same year because of the thing that I did. And you mentioned making connections.
Yes.
I really consider myself more of a catalyst.
Yeah.
I go into a situation, see a problem because they had no website, they had all these hotels, no money.
Yeah.
So I came up with a sponsorship program, put that together, and 24 years later, there's now a tourism department there. I feel really proud of that because it wasn't that I had that vision, but I saw a problem. I came up with a solution. No money, let's get money.
Yeah.
Built the website, and it's evolved. So I feel like I see a problem, go into there, and just innovate, right? Whether it's high tech, high touch, or whatever.
When you're talking about stress, though, one of the things that I have done to get away from the stress is just not to give a crap anymore. I just don't care.
Right.
I mean, yeah, we all stress about money. Well, then quit spending.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't have to buy everything.
No.
Quit spending, and now you have money.
So part of it is self-management, right? What are you going to stress about?
Yeah.
If you can't, like we talked about cancer scare I had a few years ago, it was like when I heard oncology, I didn't know if I had cancer.
Yeah.
So why stress about it? And so, having that mindset for the 3 months to find out I didn't have it, I wasn't even worried because there was nothing I could do, and I'll find out and we'll deal with it when I get there.
Yeah, but the other side of it too is God puts you on this planet. We have 100% chance of leaving this planet, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So you have to look at it as God, and it's not a matter of, I don't care what religion you are or what God you're praying to. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about whatever the bigger picture is. You were put on this planet to do something.
Right.
If that was to raise a family, then you raised a family. If that was to be an example, then you were an example.
Right. Whether it was a good example or a bad example.
Well, an analogy that I use is my little nephew was stillborn. Okay. And so none of us got to meet this beautiful little baby, but we still talk about him. And all he brought was love. His entire moment on this planet was love, because all these years later, we're still talking about this beautiful little baby that most of us never met.
Right.
And that was what he contributed to this world, was just pure love.
Yeah.
And so whatever it is in life, when it is your turn, you have to accept that.
Yeah. Well, and so you said something that brought up one of my favorite quotes. So Irma Bombeck, who was a humorist from years ago, she said, "When I stand before God at the end of my life, I have nothing left. I used everything you gave me." And I think that's the mission that we want.
Absolutely.
Right?
That's all we're here to do. And so if you get up every day, so for me, I tell people I'm a servant. I also tell people that I'm waiting to die, which people think that means that I hate life. No, I'm living my life as a servant to God. I'm not religious. I'm very spiritual, but I'm not religious. I don't pray. But everything that I do is for the people, because God gave me these wonderful talents. Why put them to waste? And when God says, "Okay, your work is done," I can't fight that. I've done all the stuff I wanted to do. Does that make sense?
Oh, absolutely. Because one of the premises on the Serenity Playbook is the two primary emotions are fear and love. So fear is where stress comes from. Fear of failure, fear of rejection, and all that. If you come from love, which is contribution, that's where the gift is. That's where what you take what you've been given and share it with others, whether it's information, education, support. That's what I believe in now.
So talk to me, what does your platform do? The Serenity Playbook and Hook Them at Hello. Tell me what it is that you're doing.
Well, so I've been teaching seminars, live courses for years. And during the pandemic, we were actually teaching courses in Rancho Cordova live, but took that online because everybody went online, right? So I launched an online course. And actually one of my friends was talking about, I want to teach an online course, and I started exploring options for that. I found a woman named Marisa Murgatroyd who has an online platform. She calls it gamification, because she says the reason people don't like online courses is because it gets boring. It's just like talking videos and stuff. But she and her husband built a platform which engages people and calls it gamification. And actually, so when I launched the course probably on a Friday. By Monday, I already had my first review. She said that was amazing because they were so engaged. They did it in one day where I gave them 6 days to do it. So that's the platform. So the Serenity Playbook takes you through the premises of how to get a calm, confidence mindset. And it's not rocket science. It's really quite brilliant. And the reason I'm sharing it is because listening to speakers like Jim Rohn, Mark Victor Hansen, etc., nobody has explained it the way that Bert
Jim
Moses
Rohn
did.
is amazing.
Oh, I love
his
him.
story is insane.
Yeah. Oh, well, so interesting enough, Vern Moses, who's my local mentor, and Jim Rohn passed within about 3 months of each other. And they've had huge influences on me. So this is why I wanted to do the Serenity Playbook, because it's that catalyst shift. You know, we talked about being able to have an influence on somebody's life that changes how the trajectory of where they go. And I wanted to do that just by the training of the mindset shifts that I was able to integrate in my life because of the gifts of Jim Rohn and Vern Moses and other leaders.
You know, what we need in our group, everybody has something that they bring to the table. I think that you would do exceptionally well with the mindset thing. There's a few people in the group that they're not there yet. The mindset isn't there yet. They think they're there, but they're not there.
Right.
There's a thinking I'm there and knowing I'm there, right?
And being there,
and
right?
being there, yeah. And so I think that you could really offer a lot to some of these people in the group. I'm not going to say who. You have to figure that out. But Jim Rohn, do you know his story about how his book became a bestseller?
One of them. Maybe
where he traveled the country in the station wagon and was buying his books and then calling the radio stations and the bookstores. Do you know that story?
Well, and Mark Victor Hansen had the same thing with Chicken Soup. I mean, it's basically you have this great information and you've just got to be persistent. And so, launching this course, I don't have a large, even though I do a lot of marketing on the internet, I haven't done social media because you talked about being a connector.
Yes.
I don't feel I'm as well connected to people as well as being that catalyst. Just
I
putting
think
that thing out there.
I think that if you started coming out to our events, I think that you would have people gravitate towards you, and you would realize how valuable you are as a connector. I'm dead serious.
Yeah.
Because we all know people, and we don't know what we don't know, right?
Right.
And so when you you've got contacts that these people could use. And so if you're referring people to, X, Y, and Z and A, B, and C and C, D, and F and so forth, you're recommending to these different people, they're going to recommend you. Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think you talked about being a servant. That's why I feel I am. I'm here to serve. I'm here to be a catalyst in whatever.
People put negative spin on all this stuff. Oh, he talks about waiting to die, and he talks about being a servant. You're completely missing the point. It's like when these people they talk about, you have to be, submissive to your spouse, and then they get it all like, come on, dude, like that's not what that means. Like quit like trying to put a title on it.
Yeah.
What I mean by, what that means is that when your wife says, can you take out the trash? You just get up and take out the friggin' trash. I mean, it's literally that, when I always say give 100% to your spouse and your spouse give 100%.
Absolutely.
And if your spouse can't give 100%, well, then they'll give 100% down the line.
Yeah.
Sometimes you can't give everything that you've got, so,
right.
Just be submissive, to your clients, be submissive to the people around you, be submissive to your spouse. You'll be surprised how far life will take you if you're selfless.
That's a good word.
Yeah.
We talked about contribution and being selfless without your own agenda. Yeah. Just be
Yesterday we were talking. I said, I find myself, I get into trouble when I get into a situation and I'm thinking about me. The moment that I quit thinking about me, then everything works out. It's a very weird thing.
Yeah.
Very weird thing. All right. SerenityPlaybook.com. Susan Dakuzaku. Hey, I want to thank you so much for being here.
Can I make an offer for your listeners?
Absolutely.
So if you go to SerenityPlaybook.com, it's a $29 mini course to launch. If you put in the word paddle, you will get it for free.
Oh.
You also have 2 weeks to do it because, it's like everything. If you don't do something now, it'll get put off on the back burner.
Yes.
And somebody said procrastination is failure on the installment plan. So you want to take advantage of this with a time limit.
That's a good one.
Yeah, I like that one.
Oh, man. I always said poor was passing over opportunities repeatedly. There's so many of those.
Yeah.
So many of those. All right. Well, hey, thank you so much for being here.
Well, thank you, John.
And thank you guys so much for listening, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.